The other night, I did experience my first air raid siren.
Ackley-Killian spoke to young United Methodist women through Skype about living on the Palestinian side of the wall in Bethlehem as a Global Mission Fellow.
Having moved to the West Bank and really engaging daily with the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, I find that it's much more complicated than I thought it was. There is just a general underlying tension to every aspect of daily life. There are days where it just seems like there is no hope in the world and that there's just so much sadness and pain in the world, and then I find my joy in God.
That joy started as early as Grace can remember.
Both my parents are United Methodist clergy, so I was born into the church. As I grew, I became more and more involved through youth choir and bell choir and Sunday school, youth group, and then the Dames in Action, our young adult circle of United Methodist Women.
Grace's mother, Deborah Ackley-Killian, says her daughter is the fourth generation of United Methodist Women in her family.
She wants to share God's call for peace and justice in the world, and that came not only from our home, but also from the United Methodist Women.
It really started out as a way to do service and to fellowship with my friends, and it slowly became a real introduction into social action.
Grace grew by learning about other faiths. She graduated from a Catholic high school in Pittsburgh and Brandeis University, a Jewish-sponsored college. Since her commissioning, she's served at the WM Conflict Resolution Center in Israel, with a few months at a refugee camp for Syrian children.
I've watched her grow up from a rather reserved, shy teenager to a young woman who kept getting more and more sure of herself.
Thank you so much for having me.
Diane Miller was the mentor for Grace's UMW circle. She reads her blogs and connects her with other young women. Many at this conference in Western Pennsylvania are inspired by Grace's work in Israel during wartime.
The fact that she's actually living there and experiencing all this is really impactful.
Good morning, or perhaps I should greet you in Arabic, Sabah al-Khair.
During a brief visit home, Grace spoke to her supporters at Mount Lebanon United Methodist Church.
We tend to measure missions in numbers, volunteers, and donations, and those are all important, but sometimes the most important work is to share a cup of tea, listen and laugh together, to simply be. There is real power in sacrificing privilege and living on the other side of the wall.
Grace says the Christians and Muslims in Palestine are looking for people of faith to reach out and take a stand.
I think the church's role when we talk about such global issues is really twofold, and that we need to be advocating for change, both on the ground in Israel-Palestine as well as just in our global culture of war and violence. And we also need to be living on the margins of society, really engaging and listening and offering that ministry of presence that's so powerful.